In this episode, we are going to uncover what happened after Tupac Shakur's death. The unanswered questions, the missing details, and the contradictions no one wanted to talk about. But before we begin, if you want to support this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. It helps this story reach more people, and it keeps this journey alive. Now, let's go back to the moment when the truth started to disappear. When the world was told that Tupac Shakur was dead, everything stopped. But the real story started at that exact moment. Because what Tupac left behind was not just a body, he left questions, contradictions, and a silence that felt deeply uncomfortable. In the hours, days, and weeks following the Las Vegas shooting, nothing added up. Witness statements kept changing. Police reports were incomplete. Key evidence disappeared. And the strangest part, no one seemed to be in a hurry. In a case like this, a city should have been on fire. The media should have demanded answers. Authorities should have used every resource available. But Tupac's case, these was quietly allowed to go cold. And Tupac was not just another victim. He wasn't just a rapper. He was a symbol. And to some, he was a threat. Not because of his fame, but because of his voice. While he was alive, Tupac spoke openly about police brutality. He criticized the government. He exposed the system. And after his death, those words became even more dangerous, because Tupac had been silenced. But his ideas had not. Albums continued to release after his death. Lyrics were analyzed, and people began to notice something unsettling. It sounded like Tupac knew what was coming. In his songs, he hinted at life after death. He talked about returning. He warned that killing him wouldn't change anything. And then came Machiavelli. Machiavelli wasn't just a stage name, it was a message. Inspired by Niccolò Machiavelli, a philosopher who wrote about power, deception, and survival. One of Machiavelli's most controversial ideas was this: a leader could fake his death and return stronger than ever. Tupac knew this theory, and he was fascinated by it. That's when people started asking the unthinkable question: what if Tupac didn't really die? The questions multiplied. Why was there no public funeral? Why were there no official photos of his body? Why did his family remain so quiet? Why was the investigation closed so quickly? And why? Did his death continue to generate millions of dollars, album sales, books, documentaries? A dead man was more powerful than the living. Some believed it was all part of a plan. Others said it was chaos and coincidence. But a small group of people looked deeper. Hospital staff began to talk. Nurses, doctors, and their stories didn't match the official version. Some claimed Tupac was conscious in his final moments. Some said he spoke. Others said his eyes were open. But none of this appeared in the reports. Even the number of bullets that hit him was unclear. Some reports said 4, others said 5, some said more. And several bullet fragments were never recovered. Then FBI documents surfaced, and the story grew darker. Tupac had been under surveillance for years, his phone calls monitored, his movements tracked. Why? Because Tupac wasn't just making music. He was waking people up. He spoke to the youth, to the streets, to those the system preferred to ignore. And that made him dangerous. By episode 9, one truth becomes clear. Tupac's death was not a moment, it was a process. And that process didn't begin the night he was shot. It began years earlier, in courtrooms, in interviews, behind closed doors. And maybe Tupac knew it. That's why he rushed. That's why he recorded endlessly. That's why he refused to stay quiet. He felt time running out. But the real question remains, was Tupac murdered? Or were we meant to believe he was? Because the truth has never been fully told. And in episode 10, we begin to see who was really pulling the strings.